Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is Global Reality Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for yet another late-night Moonbat edition of the broadcast. It's Wednesday now into Thursday here for you, and so glad you could join us and be with us here tonight for another late-night Moonbat edition, 20th into the 21st of July. And we will be getting into all sorts of news and information for you here on the broadcast tonight, and love to have emails during the show as well. You got stuff you want to send in and have me talk about on the show, love to have those anytime. globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com, so you can send those all over there anytime. And I hope people understand when they send me emails that I oftentimes respond to them on air. I don't respond back, so I know I said it the other night, but still. My website where this broadcast originates from, www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. Also, you can find the links to listen to the show live. We usually do them Moonbat. We do them kind of late, early, however you want to perceive that. And we we've started having more listenership when we were doing later shows. It's kind of one of those no-brainer type of things, you know. There's not really much on this late, early, however you want to look at it. And we have a lot of listeners overseas as well, and this is, early in the day for them. So they sort of enjoy the time slot. And I sort of enjoy doing it this time as well. So I seem to be more in the mode of this. This has always been the time of night that I've always been sort of researching this stuff. So it was kind of odd to for the longest time be doing a show in the morning time. Like, I'm not researching it 11 o'clock in the morning. Not unless I've been up all night and then slept and I'm on a fucking, 24-hour research bender, which I've done before, but many times. But, generally, it's the late night Moonbatty type of hours that I'm sort of researching this stuff. So I think we've been kind of having a better delivery since we've been doing it late night like this. So thanks to everybody who stays up with us night after night, and all the people who hang out in the chat room and stay up late with us night after night, the people who help get the archives up late for us night after night. Thanks to all those people as well out there in Radio Land. Thanks to you if you're a new listener. Thanks to all the people who've been sending in emails lately. Everybody that has supported the broadcast continues to support us. For those that aren't aware, we do have a P.O. box now for people who absolutely can't use PayPal. So only use the P.O. box thing we have now if you absolutely can't use PayPal, because if not, we're not going to. A lot of the bills we have to pay are electronic. Get through the PayPal thing, and it kind of creates problems for us and will make us late on paying things if people are, but we haven't got anything yet to the P.O. box, but it is up there on the website, right-hand side of the page, underneath the, just keep scrolling down. It's underneath where the chip-in banner and all that stuff is, and the donate button there at the website, theglobalreality.com. I don't think we'll have anything in the mailbag. Well, let me see. I'm wrong about that. I actually do have a couple of things in the mailbag here. Let's see what we've got tonight. Again, if you want to send an email in, you'd like to have me read on air, a question, a comment, something for discussion, globalrealityshow@gmail.com is my email address. This one comes from Mitchell. Mitchell says, hey, Josh, good to hear you have the P.O. box open running. I hope to send you a donation soon. Thank you very much. The question I have is this. With the increasing controls on the internet and the threat of possible massive power outages, have you considered using some sort of medium that will allow for broadcast to be reached through a shortwave radio or something like that? That may be a naive question, as I really have no idea what kind of communications we will have if our satellites go out or something like that. How are we going to get our global reality fix? You know what? I got to hand it to you, Mitchell. I admire your list of priorities and responsibilities, my friend. The shit's going down, and we need to load up our weapons or load up our food or whatever and get to our bug out routes, right? We're all trying to figure out what we're going to do. Mitchell over here is wondering how the fuck he's going to be able to hear my show. Fuck all this other dumb shit. Fuck the food. Fuck the guns. Fuck the bug out route. How the fuck am I going to get to listen to Global Reality? Oh, that is good stuff. I got to say, Mitchell, I admire your priority list, my friend. You are a true soldier for the cause for that. It's great. No, seriously. It's a great question. I just had to give him some stuff because he's a cool guy. So, he also says, by the way, everyone knows Satan is a woman. So can I get just one lick Satan's puss?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Satan likes to lick that puss too. Oh yeah, baby. There you go. Lick it.
So there you go. That the question of, if the internet goes down, power outages, that kind of thing. I think the one thing that we do have is we have that's why we have to start setting up. If you have sort of a network of people and people that know each other, in every town, everybody gets everybody's contact information. You can have little networks and pockets of people and stuff like that you can, band up with in times like this. And it's going to have things like, CD burners and tons of blank CDs around at all times. Keep as many as you can around, just extra lying around as you can at all times, because that's how, times like that's how it's going to do it. It's going to be, people basically loading up stuff onto discs or whatever and going and handing them out street, or getting them to people's hands or getting them to whatever media is left or anything like that. As far as backup things for my show and stuff, shortwave costs a ton of money. I've been asked multiple times in almost 4 years doing radio here if we could get my show up on shortwave radio, because that allows a lot of people who live out in outlying areas to hear it, and you reach a lot of people, and that's how Bill Cooper got as many listeners as he had, was through shortwave. I know that it costs, from what I understand, it costs a whole lot of money to do it, a whole lot more money than we have the ability to probably ever afford. I mean, thousands of dollars a month, from what I understand, to get your show on shortwave. But I will say this: if there's anybody out there who knows how to get a radio show like mine, or could get a radio show like mine on shortwave broadcasting, and would know how much that would cost, let us know. Send me an email. Maybe we can, if we found out info on how much it would cost to do that and said, okay, it would cost this much to do it, maybe somebody out there might do that. I don't know. But again, if anybody has any information on that and how to get a show like mine on shortwave, please send it to me, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's a good idea. Also, another thing, if the micro FM broadcasters, having those but not using them right now. See, that's always been my idea, and I've said this to people several times, and they've always kind of just sloughed me off on it and didn't think I was right. But I've said to people for years that I think we were going the wrong way with these micro FM broadcasters. I think everybody was doing it backwards. Trying to put them up in every nook and cranny in all these towns and hoping that people are going to tune into them. And then, you got to play politics and figure out who shows you're going to play on them. Are you going to play Alex Jones? You're not going to play Alex Jones. You're going to play stuff that's racier than that. What are you going to do? And I've always thought that was the wrong way to do it. I always thought that we should be educating people about how to use these things and how to set them up and how to broadcast with them as a part of their, quote unquote, emergency planning or what have you. I think everybody's been doing the wrong thing, putting them up now, trying to get shows like mine and others on and broadcasting on them, and they really don't reach anybody. I mean, I never saw any effect positive from the one thing that was cool one time when I was on RBN the first time. It happened several times after this, but the first time that I was ever doing a show, it was about 7:30 in the morning on Saturday morning, and because I did my show between 7 and 9 a.m. over there, and a guy called in from his truck, and I could hear the freeway and the highway going by in the background. I could hear, he was calling me from a cell phone in his car, and he was listening to me in his truck while he was going down the road. And that was pretty huge for me. That was really cool. It was like, wow, this is really out there. This is on the airwaves right now. So, but other than that, I think that the micro FM things, that they're not very expensive. There's a lot of information out there on how to set them up. I think that would be a great suggestion from me for something like that you could do, in the times that if I'm ever in a position to where I could afford to get one of those, I would do it. If I had cash where I could get one, I mean, they're not that expensive. A few $100, $1,000 tops, maybe, I guess, for everything. I don't really know. Not that much, though, what I understand. But no, Mitchell, you're exactly right. I think it's something that we all need to think about. I tend to not go as far as some people do on the whole into the internet thing. The bottom line of it is right now, the internet is the only thing that's sustaining any kind of economy. That's why they're trying to crack down and lock down on it and create all these phony hacking scandals and stage things like this and cyber warfare bullshit. It's all pretext stuff, just like a new 9/11. 9/11 gave them the pretext of do whatever they wanted. Now they want a pretext to do whatever they want in ways of controlling the internet. So it's we're right back there again where we're in this process of trying to decode what the next thing is going to be. But you're exactly right. We do need to have contingency. So something for us all to think about. Thanks for the email, Mitchell. Here's one from John, Big John. Big
motherfucking John.
John says, I love your work. I am new to your talk show, and I'm listening to the Global Reality 7-19-11 late night Moonbat show now. I'm just wondering if you had researched Sitchin is Wrong website yet. If not, please do. And if you have, please let me know what you think. Thanks, John. Okay, John, let me reemphasize, as you're a new listener, and it's not your fault because you didn't hear me say this because you haven't listened to any previous shows where I stated this when I started reading the Lost Book of Enki by Zachary Sitchin. But please do go back and check YouTube and find those shows where I talked about that, where I first started reading it, the beginning of it. And I've stated many times throughout reading it that I don't always read things that I agree with. I don't always agree with things that I read. Does that make sense? I'm simply putting things out in the court of public opinion and seeing if we can draw conclusions on them, on the information based in them, based on things that we've researched and things that we've talked about on the show, in ideas that we have about the power structure and who's really behind it and how deep it really goes and how far back the sacred information and the secret knowledge that the secret society's been hiding from us goes, real origins of that, origins of the priest class stuff. So that was my justification for reading both William Bramley's The Gods of Eden and this Lost Book of Enki, Zachariah Sitchin thing. It's not an endorsement of Sitchin's work. I've never been a fan of his work. It's not an endorsement of the Nibiru thing. I'm not against that. It's not that I disbelieve it, but I'm not one of those people that believes it's coming, it's the destroyer and all this stuff. I'm not in that camp. If you listen to the Red Eye show I talked about Vulcan. Look into that. But so there you go. I really, it's not, I don't really want to get into, the people who the debunkers versus Sitchin or Sitchin versus debunkers. It's not what this is about or reading this is about at all. And it's not an endorsement or an agreement of the work or anything else. I'm simply presenting it and I've never read it for myself. So as I'm experiencing what's in these texts, even though I've, familiar with most of what we've read so far through reference to other work and other research and other things I've read, and even some of other Sitchin's work mirrors a lot of what is in here. But I thought people always, one of the biggest questions I always get from people when talking about the reasonings behind, the war in Iraq and going in and getting the antiquities and what were they looking for there, and these, reptilian alien statues and the whole history of this, and the genetic manipulation of indigenous creatures to create a slave race, and the meanings and the explanations behind the New World Order itself and the priest class and the elite. That's where all of that stuff has led. So for me reading it, and reading it to you on the first time and understanding it, you sort of get these aha moments, and we sort of come to some new beliefs and new understandings together. Again, it's just really for research and reference purposes, and maybe possibly that we will understand this stuff and not just say, because again, let me go back to what I was saying there. I lost my train of thought, but I remember what I was saying. Oftentimes we reference one of the biggest questions I always get is questions about the Sumerian cylinder seals and the clay tablets and all this stuff. And one of the biggest things that I've heard with researchers and talk show hosts and people who make movies and all this stuff is they often reference these texts, but nobody seems to ever want to dive into them and what they're really saying and detail that out over an extended period of time. And I felt it was time to do that. I mean, that's the way I approach how I do my show, John, is I sort of look for the things that I hear people talk about and then I understand are part of the equation. Everybody knows morals and dogma. Oh, it's blah, blah, blah. It's the sacred text of the Scottish Rite. Yeah, but do you have a copy of it? Have you referenced it? Have you gone through it? Have you really tried to understand what it is, or do you just reference it as, part of the nomenclature, just part of the conversation and the conspiracy speak and all that? My thing is, I always went and got those books, went and tried to find out exactly what was in them, what's going on in them. My microphone's doing weird stuff again. I don't know what it is. I'd have a cable shorting out or something. Anyway, so not an endorsement of Sitchin's work. Not me saying that, this is 100% fact. But the interesting thing about it is I'm finding more and more from reading it that there has been a reason why there has been so much emphasis put on attempting to debunk. It's not, you have to understand, it's not Sitchin. Sitchin is simply the mouthpiece. He's simply the poster boy. So what you do is you make him look like a fool. It's easy. He did that himself with the things that he said that really backed up, the ideas that the Jews are the God's chosen people. That's really what he really did a lot of times in some of his interpretations and whatnot. And so that's been the big thing of contention with him and why people have always, because of that, and I have a problem with that myself. I'm not saying I don't, but it's because of that alone. That's all it took. That's all they had to do. That his character have that one little thing in there where he's, saying that the Sumerian cylinder seal stuff verifies that the Jews are God's chosen people, when it verifies that the Semites is what it says, not the Jews, Semites. You see that understanding of knowing that Arabic populations are Semitic as well, Semitic populations as well. And that's what this genocide has been directed at by these people. And then that Saddam Hussein was getting ready to set up a library in Iraq prior to the invasion, just after 9/11, 2002, he was working on this. He was going to have a library full of all these ancient Sumerian cylinder seals and tablets. And he was going to say that he was going to actually not say, but show the world, who the quote-unquote real Semites were and the real God-chosen people were. And he was going to show that it was these people that were indigenous to ancient Iraq. That the Iraqis were the true God-chosen people because they came from these bloodlines of the Anunnaki that went back to prior to ancient Sumeria in the Ubaid period of what was then ancient Mesopotamia, what was then known as Cydonia. On the 33rd degree parallel, same as Cydonia on Mars, which is the part of Mars where the face is, where the pyramids are. That's all explained. You know, that's in these 5,000-year-old texts. So, you know, the big thing of it is because Sitchin made that bullshit connection, in most people's minds, that discredits what is in these texts. Who gives a fuck about Sitchin? Leave him out of this. We're talking about what is in these ancient texts, what is in these ancient manuscripts, these ancient Sumerian cylinder seals. This is what we're talking about, not his view on the phony state of Israel or whatever have you. But that's what they do. It's the same thing they do with Eric John Phelps. You know, because he's obviously a racist, Nazi, Zionist, Zio diamond salesman, admitted Zionist, that in the mind of most people discredits all of his information, when I have yet to find any information that he's put out concerning Jesuits and the CMP and everything else that I can discredit with my own research. I mean, I don't like the guy one iota, but, I can't discredit the works, but that's what they do. That is an intentional thing. And whether or not these people are aware that they are that or not is a completely different story. That's pretty hard to prove. But they try to they throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's what they do. That's the best way to put it. They throw the baby out with the bathwater, and because, Sitchin was a Fed Israel supporter, or, Eric John Phelps is a Nazi separatist, Zio diamond salesman. They focus on the person, not the information, and then they try to do the same thing to me. These people that attack me and say shit about me on their shows or in chat rooms or whatever else, but they always are focusing on me and my alleged character or what they allegedly think about me or anything else. They just make stuff up most of the time. And, they attack me with that, but it's just mind blowing to see. It's just staggering, this stuff. Anyway, that's the best I can say it, man. I'm not supporting Zachariah Sitchin by reading this book. I'm not saying that he's right on, but here's another one from Leo. This says, from clarification from last night, he was talking about Nibiru and Venus. Those of you who listened last night remember this. He said, I did not mean to imply that Nibiru was actually Venus, but the events described in the Lost Book of Enki, where the hammered belt releases the asteroids in calamity on Earth and Mars, these are the same events described in the book of Exodus. I tend to agree with you that the planet that the Anunnaki came from has to be much farther than the planet described by Sitchin. Well, I don't know if you heard about this. Saw this, had this in the news stack tonight. Hubble telescope discovers that Pluto has a tiny fourth moon. NASA has announced that the Hubble Space Telescope has found a fourth moon circling the icy dwarf planet Pluto, but it's just 8 to 21 miles wide. And that's what's interesting. There was something we were reading the other night out of the Lost Book of Enki that said something about Enki and Marduk going and exploring the planets in our solar system and exploring various moons around other planets. And, I think this is probably part of this disclosure where they're starting to roll out the knowledge of more and more of these things that they're allegedly just finding, which we know they've probably known about for much longer than that. But interesting story there. So thanks, Leo. Thanks for clarifying that for us. Appreciate that. If you have any more email you'd like to send in tonight, that's all we have right now, but we can get to you if you want to get one in tonight. globalrealityshow@gmail.com. For now, we're going to get back into the news. Bullet tax proposed by mayoral candidate. Mayoral candidate in Baltimore is planning to reduce violence in Baltimore, including a bullet tax. Otis Raleigh said he would, if elected, propose a $1 bullet tax on all bullet purchases in the city. The idea is part of an overall crime plan. Well, I've been saying that for the longest time. It's not the guns they're going to make illegal. It's going to be the ammo. They'll just tax the shit out of everybody's reach in this economy, So here's it in Baltimore. They are indeed doing that. Why human-like robots are so creepy to watch? They spark conflict in our brains. If you've ever seen an android in a film, you will know the feeling. It looks like a human, moves like a human, but still ends up being a bit creepy. Now scientists have worked out why we find such robots uncomfortable to watch. They spark conflict in our brains. The gap between how we expect them to move and how they actually move causes confusion in the part of our brain which governs body movement. Well, I would argue also that what it does is that something with a soul, with an energy, is automatically, it's like a radar. It automatically is alerted to the presence of another sentient being, or it can be an animal, a dog, a person, it doesn't matter. But an energy, a thing with energy, with a soul, with an essence. It can detect the presence of another soul, another entity. And so when we see something like this that's fake, we automatically also does the opposite thing. It sends like a radar message to our brain that we're seeing something that's not real. It's just, that's how it works. But it sounds like they're trying to study this because they're trying to figure out a way around that. So that's what the interesting purpose of this article is to me. Presenting that as if that's a problem. Oh my goodness, it's a problem that the human brain reacts to seeing something fake. My goodness, how are we going to get away with, pretty soon just putting fake people out into the population? You won't know whether the girl you're dating is, an android or not. It'll be like fucking Blade Runner. I can just tell you, man, that Philip K. Dick, and more and more, I mean, that guy, almost everything that dude's predicted has come to pass, and continues to look like it's going to. The sensation will be familiar to anyone who has a raft of science fiction films or the Star Trek series, which features the lifelike android data. Scientists have actually developed a name for when robots become just about enough to be realistic. The uncanny valley, but until now, nobody has been able to explain it. Researchers from the University of California in San Diego showed 20 test subjects aged 20 and 36 footage of the incredibly lifelike Japanese Repli Q2 android. The android has been hailed as the most lifelike in the world, and the test subjects were shown a video of it drinking water, picking up some paper, nodding, and waving. They were also shown a video of a human performing the same action and the Q2 without its skin on, so it clearly looked like a robot. The researchers found that when viewed through a functional magnetic resonance imaging, or an fMRI, there was activity in the parietal cortex of all 20. This is the part of the brain which connects the section which processes body movement to the part which deals with how we relate to such movements. Lead researcher Ansai Pinar Sagan, an assistant professor of cognitive science, said that this is where the conflict took place and led to the feeling of being spooked out. The brain doesn't seem tuned to care about either biological appearance or biological motion per se, she said. What it seems to be looking for is its expectations to be met, for appearance and motion to be congruent. See, that's why they're trying to see that. Like I told you, right there, they tell you that's what they're trying to figure out a way around that. Well, they can make something that tricks the brain into believing that what it's looking at is it truly organic and what we perceive to be as quote unquote real. So, hey, guaranteed military is developing tech for this. Unbelievable stuff there. Let's see what else we have. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission was to meet Thursday to discuss sweeping new safety recommendations after having just finished inspecting all 104 U.S. nuclear plants in the wake of Japan's Fukushima incident. And they're saying that, it's inevitable here. Well, it's already happened, it seems, but nobody seems to be covering that. New U.S. software to end naked airport scams. This is from the AFP. In the face of an outcry over so-called naked body scans at airports, U.S. authorities on Wednesday announced plans for a new scanning system that eliminates passenger-specific images. Transportation Security Administration Administrator John Pistoli said the agency would begin installing new software on its scanners designed to enhance privacy. The new software will auto-detect items that could pose a potential threat using a generic outline of a person for all passengers, the agency said. By eliminating the image of an actual passenger and replacing it with a genetic outline of a person, passengers are able to view the same outline that the TSA officer sees. Further, a separate TSA officer will no longer be required to view the image in a remotely located viewing room. The news comes after protests and lawsuits over the use of so-called naked scanners. So this is great. What they're not telling you here, I love how they package this stuff. And I was sitting here reading this going, I'm waiting for it, and it never came. It says the news comes after protests and lawsuits over the use of so-called naked scanners that take full-body X-ray images that show passengers' genitals. In cases where people refuse such scans, TSA agencies manually pat down passengers. Now, it doesn't say anywhere here that I can find. Let me grab this, drop this in the chat room, see if we can get somebody to confirm it for me. I can't find anywhere in that chat in that article there, chat room, that says they're going to stop scanning. Nowhere in that article does it say they're going to stop scanning people. It simply says that they're not going to be naked scanners anymore, that the software is basically going to create a template blank image that's just going to be, it's going to cover up all the parts. But I don't see nary a mention about them stopping the scans altogether. It just says the software will end naked airport scans. But see, people are probably looking at this article, and they're probably, shitting in their pants, jumping up and down, oh, it's a victory, we won. They ain't gonna scan us no more. You hear about it? Yeah, no, man, no more naked scanners. No, asshole. No more naked scanners. The scanners stay in place. So that's the problem here. They've used all these incidences in the media, and people like Alex Jones, of course, and others have fed into this. But for me, the issue was never about the intrusive nakedness or, them seeing your genitals or whatever else. That's not the problem here. The problem is that they're scanning us using things that knowingly, that MIT did studies about, that knowingly unzip your DNA and affect your DNA. And with how I know they're trying to keep us from having 12-strand DNA activation, to keep us from, possibly evolving into another dimensional type of being. They're putting MSG in our food, which does it. They're putting fluoride in our water, which calcifies the pineal gland. They're having us go through body scanners that unzip our DNA. They've got this electromagnetic web of cell phones and computers and everything else around us, keeping our DNA from resonating and singing in the way that it's supposed to. So that's the issue here. The issue is the scanners themselves, not whether or not they can see you naked or not. But then here again, they got us sidetracked as a people. They told us and decided for us what the issue was, and we, like a bunch of rabid dogs, took off with it, ran with it. They got us again. Each and every one of you out there, myself included, all of us, none of us should not feel ashamed about that. The issue was never about, oh my God, they could see you naked. That's where they play into your phony morality. And they feed on that. They pump you full of this phony morality through bullshit TV and bullshit movies your whole life. And then they turn that back around and use it against you later on. Oh my God, the morality, they could see. They saw my junk. They saw my... Who cares? We all got the same shit under there. Cock, balls, vag, ass. It doesn't matter. We all got the same stuff. I don't understand why people get hung up. It's a hang-up. It's like... It's a fucking high schooler level hang-up. We all have cock and balls. We all have pussies and asses and everything else. Various shapes and sizes and colors and everything else. God damn it, we all got it. We've all seen it. Nobody's never seen a cock and balls. Nobody's never not seen a vagina. We've all seen it. We all came from there. Let's get past that. There again, they manipulated our emotions and our feelings and our belief systems and everything based on this bullshit premise of whether or not it was morally right they could see your junk and touch your junk. It's not about that. That's not the issue. It's never been the issue. The issue is these scanners have been proven to cause damage to your DNA, and we know that there's already maximum amounts of information showing case after case of how they're trying to do this on all fronts and all levels. So it plays right into it. I hope that people out there understand that was never the issue. The issue is these scanners themselves. But again, in that article, it's a very, very interesting case where they, that article, most people are going to look at that. And the first thing that comes to your mind when you read it is, oh, great, they're getting rid of these naked body scanners. No, they're getting rid of the naked part. That's it. The scanner stays. It says that in the article. Well, let's follow up that one with this one. This is from PC World. Big Brother creep out 7 ways U.S. government invades brains. With increasing frequency, it seems agencies of the government are looking to tap into the public consciousness to gather information on everything from how you surf the web to how you can use information generated by you to predict the future. It's all a little creepy, really. Here we take a look at 7 programs announced this year that in some ways really want to crawl into your brain to see what's happening in the world. U.S. intelligence agencies want technology to predict the future from public events. Well, they have that at the highest levels already. Had it for years. Algorithms that crunch data on, the outcomes of world events. It's like, the fucking Whopper and the Matthew Broderick film War Games. I mean, they've had that shit for decades. Publicly available data that could be aggregated and used by intelligence systems to predict future events is out there. Yep. If you can harness the technology to utilize it. That's one of the driving ideas behind a program that the Intelligence Advanced Research Project Activity Group, IARPA, an offshoot of DARPA, I might add, will detail at Prosper's Day Conference in Washington, D.C. in August. The program, known as the Open Source Indicators, will aim to develop methods for continuous automated analysis of publicly available data in order to anticipate or detect societal disruptions such as political crises, disease outbreaks, economic instability, resource shortages, and natural disasters. And again, this is why they're not going to get rid of the internet. I mean, I was trying to state that earlier with the email from Mitchell. Having contingency plans and stuff like that is a good idea, man, but I don't think we got much to worry about. It's been overstated, I believe. They are going to clamp down on the internet and control it. All that's true, but they ain't getting rid of the internet. It's too valuable to them at this point. It allows them to skirt all the traditional laws of rights and everything else and search and seizure by, getting us all to willfully put these machines in our homes. And that's what they've done. They've got us all to willfully put the technology that allows them to monitor us and to gain data for their, political purposes, for their financial purposes, everything else, any purpose they see fit. They've tricked us into willingly put all this technology into our homes under the guise of, TVs and computers and things that, we all have to have, right? I have to have it. I'm not free from that. But that's how they've done it. So let's just not shit the bed too quick on the whole shutting down the internet thing. That's all I'm trying to say. According to the agency, many significant societal events are predicted and are followed by population-level changes in communication, consumption, and movement. Some of these changes may be indirectly observable from publicly available data, such as web search trends, blogs, microblogs, internet traffic, webcams, financial markets, and many others. Published research has found that many of these data sources are individually useful in the early detection of events, such as disease outbreaks and macroeconomic trends. However, little research has examined the value of combinations of data from diverse sources. DARPA and NASA Ames Research Center are soliciting abstracts, papers, topics, and members for discussion panels to be a part of the 100-year Starship Study Symposium to be held in Orlando, Florida from September 30th through October 2nd. This won't just be another space technology conference. We're hoping that ethicists, lawyers, science fiction writers, technologists, and others will participate in the dialogue to make sure that we're thinking about all of the aspects of interstellar flight. Now, they're trying to get off this rock. Said David Nayland, director of the Tactical Technology Office for DARPA. In a statement, he said, "This is a great opportunity for people with interesting ideas to be heard, which we believe will spur further thought and dreaming of innovation." This is something like straight out of, any of those disaster flicks, The Core or Armageddon. They have some Because only people that show up to these, are thinkers and nerds. Let's just bring in people off the street and steal their ideas. Make sure we're getting everything for interstellar flight. Not that we're going to let any of these people whose ideas we take from this conference go on an interstellar flight. Huh, fat chance. You're going to rot down here with the rest of the humans, slave. But, thinkers, science fiction writers, anybody who might have an idea about the best way for interstellar flight, we'd like you to come down here to this DARPA conference in Orlando, Florida, and give us your ideas on that so we can steal them. Thanks. These assholes just don't quit. Researchers with the IARPA want to build a repository of metaphors. You read that right. Not just American English metaphors, mind you, but those of Iranian, Farsi, Mexican, Spanish, and Russian speakers. Why metaphors? Metaphors have been known since Aristotle as poetic or rhetorical devices that are unique, creative instances of language artistry. For example, the world is a stage, time is money. Over the last 30 years, metaphors have been shown to be pervasive in everyday language and to reveal how people in a culture define and understand the world around them. They want to create new language, new metaphors, new ways to describe things, so they own and control the language and the nomenclature, and so they own and control how you can describe something. Amazing admission there. DARPA wants to know how stories influence the human mind and actions. Since it sounds like a not-so-basic science fiction script, you won't be surprised that the scientific masterminds at DARPA are behind it. DARPA, in a nutshell, wants to know about how stories or narratives or whatever might like to call them influence human influence human behavior. That's whatever you might like to call them. Let me read that. I hate when these guys can't write and get words in their articles. My God, how much is the fucking PC world paying you, Bubba? In a nutshell, DARPA wants to know about how stories or narratives or whatever you might like to call them influence human behavior. To this end, DARPA hosted a workshop earlier this year called Stories, Neuroscience and Experimental Technologies, Analysis and Decomposition of Narratives in Security Contexts, to discuss this topic. Stories exert a powerful influence on human thoughts and behavior. They consolidate memory, shape emotions, cue heuristics and biases in judgment, influence in-group, out-group distinctions, and may affect the fundamental contents of personal identity. It comes as no surprise that these influences make stories highly relevant to vexing security challenges such as radicalization, violent social mobilization, insurgency, terrorism, and conflict prevention and resolution. My God, they're talking about creating technologies that will help them build a better narrative of their own design. They already control and shape the narrative through media and phony news and the fakery that goes on there and the television. And my God, that's a huge admission, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness. I'm blown away. I'm reading this in print. That's huge. The admission that they want to create technology that will enable them to create a better narrative of their own design. I mean, maybe I'm late to lunch on this one, but I don't think I've ever seen them just come right out and say that. Now, I've been seeing that for years and years and years, and a lot of you researchers out there have been seeing that for years and years, but my goodness. Stories exert a powerful influence on our human thoughts and behavior, creating the stories, creating the narratives, so that they can control people's, again, sharp emotions, cue heuristics and biases in judgment, influence in in-group, out-group distinctions, meaning what do you think is cool and what do you think is not cool, and may affect the fundamental contents of personal identity. So they will be able to control the fundamental contents of personal identity. They'll be able to influence people's in-group, out-group distinctions. They'll be able to shape people's emotions. They'll be able to consolidate people's memories by, why? Controlling and creating the narrative, the description of the story, the official line, like the official story of JFK or the official line and story of Oklahoma City or 9/11 or anything else. This is unbelievable. I mean, it makes work like mine all the more important now after reading that. Because, it's up to us to try and form a new narrative that's off of the narrative that they're trying to force feed you. And we should all be building our own narrative of this and drawing from all the information such as mine and the thousands of other researchers out there in the world and creating our own personal narrative of the story and then sharing that with others and seeing if we can come with something that has facts that back it up that can contradict their story, their narrative. That's unbelievable. Something told me tonight to take my time and actually read this whole article, even though it's very long. And I'm indeed going to do that. Let me get a drink here. Building the Borg. You can't be serious. U.S. intelligence agencies want to know how your overtaxed brain works. This one sounds like it comes right out of science fiction writer's nightmare. A U.S. intelligence agency wants to develop applications based on the way human brains make sense of large amounts of haphazard partial information. We talked about this one the other night, so I'm going to skip that one. That was in a related article we talked about on another show this week. DARPA program wants to corral zany social media into a science. Looking to rein in the sort of Wild West atmosphere that can surround social media outlets, military researchers at DARPA are offering $42 million in grants to develop what it calls a new science of social networks. We're having too much fun on old Facebook by ourselves, unregulated, huh? Yeah, it's just a barrel of fun on old Facebook. Thanks, guys. Nice to know you want to make it worse than Facebook for us. That's just super news.
You thought hell was hot. We can make it hotter, motherfucker.
The general goal of DARPA's social media and strategic communication program is to develop a social network science that will develop automated and semi-automated operator support tools and techniques for the systematic and methodical use of social media at data scale and in a timely fashion, DARPA stated. From DARPA, events in a social media space involve many interactions among numbers of people at a compressed scale of time that is unprecedented. Entirely new phenomena are emerging that require thinking about social interactions in a new way. Entirely new phenomena are emerging that require thinking about social interactions in a new way. I've heard about this. They're saying that information is being spread so fast and at such a rapid rate that it may start to actually affect time itself, and may already have. But I think they're hinting at that there. Let me read it again. It says, and they're talking about, this is DARPA talking about creating its own, Facebook, its own social media space. DARPA says, quote, this is a quote from DARPA, quote, events in social media space involve many-to-many interactions. That's what it says, many interactions among numbers of people at a compressed scale of time that is unprecedented. Now, that's key. A compressed, something, I remember reading this somewhere else. I don't remember where it was. But I remember reading something recently where it talked about the interactions happening at a compressed scale of time is actually starting to affect time itself in some way. And it follows up and says, entirely new phenomenon are emerging that require thinking about social interactions in a new way. I mean, what is this? Facebook actually causing the fucking space-time continuum to bend the wrong way or something because communication's happening faster than it should on our particular three-dimensional time scale? That wouldn't fucking surprise me. That Zuckerberg, I knew he was a cocksucker. Fucking with a space-time continuum, Zuckerberg. Wasn't good enough that you fucked those two Harvard rowboat queers all over, and they had sued your ass. What wasn't enough? You had to go fucking with a space-time continuum, didn't you, Bubba? Damn. Couldn't leave well enough alone. How many billions you need not to fuck with the space-time continuum, The tools that we have today for awareness and defense in the social media space are heavily dependent on chance. We must eliminate our current reliance on a combination of luck and unsophisticated manual methods by using systematic, automated, and semi-automated human operator support to detect, classify, measure, track, and influence events in social media at data scale. The FBI wants public help solving encrypted notes from a murder mystery. In March, the FBI sought the public's help in breaking the encrypted code found in 2 notes discovered on the body of a murdered man in 1999. The FBI says that officers in St. Louis, Missouri, have discovered the body of a 41-year-old Ricky McCormick on June 30th, 1999. In a field, and the clues regarding the homicide were 2 encrypted notes found in the victim's pants pocket. The FBI says that despite extensive work by its Cryptanalysis and Racketeering Records Unit and the American Cryptogram Association, the meanings of those 2 encoded notes remain a mystery, and McCormick's murderer has never been found. One has to wonder, though, if the FBI can't figure this out, who can? I could probably figure it out for you. I bet I know what it is. I'll throw this out there, but hey, if the FBI ends up catching this guy or solving the case and there's a reward, somebody better hit the damn chipping banner. You know what I'm saying? One of you fuckers gets a reward off what I'm about to say. You better kick some cash back to me. Deal? All right. Well, if I was going to advise them on this, I would say that okay. A friend of mine who's a musician, his grandfather used to be a pilot for American Airlines. He's one of the first pilots, flew commercial jets, and he was a Freemason. And one night my friend showed me this little book, and he said, "Hey, check this out." And I opened it up, and it was this little book, little gray kind of little small book that had kind of a thing that wrapped around it to close it, and didn't have any English or anything on it, just a small book. And when I opened it up, it was this book full of these symbols, which I had never seen before, that didn't reflect anything that I'd ever seen in hieroglyphs or anything else that I've ever studied. And I've studied a lot of languages and symbols, and especially, when it comes to Freemason stuff. And so, yeah, that's when he tells me this is my grandfather's ritual book. And he said that what was in this book was coded language that only the Freemasons knew and only the Freemasons had knowledge of. And you had to go through, all the initiation degrees before you had to learn this coded cipher and the language of it before you could perform these various rituals. But only someone who could read that and decode that could perform the rituals. So, hey, that may be what it is, because my reason I'm guessing that is because that, whatever that code and cipher is, and I've never seen anything like it before or since. I've tried researching stuff online when he showed it to me and told me about it, and I said, that's odd, because I've never even heard of such a thing. I didn't know that Freemasons had such a thing like that. And so, that may be why the Cryptanalysis Racketeering Records Unit, the American Cryptogram Association, hasn't been able to crack this, because it's not a publicly known code or cipher. Maybe this was a ritual murder. Maybe this person was a Freemason and murdered by another Freemason. Who knows? Interesting stuff there, though. We're going to take a break, come back, and we'll finish up with our news for tonight, and we'll hopefully try to get into some Lost Book of Inky for you here tonight. We left off last night at the beginning of Chapter 8. We were just about to start Chapter 8. We haven't started it yet. We just read the synopsis of it last night, but should be good stuff. And so we'll take a break, come back, and get into more for you here tonight on the show. You're listening to the Late Night Moonbat Edition. Oh, yeah, back here with you on the Global Reality, right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight. My website where this broadcast originates from is www.theglobalreality.com. That's theglobalreality.com. There at theglobalreality.com, we have the listen links, the radio show archives, documentary films that I've made, video clips, music CDs of our band, the Demigods. I'm also a drummer and a musician and jack of all trades of music, and we have a band called the Demigods. Myself, Jamie Reeves, Delphi. We get the word out and the message out. We got some pretty big gigs coming up over the next few weeks. I've got 4 weeks in a row of just starting this Saturday of huge gigs for us. So it's all getting exciting on all fronts. But all this, on the radio show, making films and doing music, all this stuff, it all requires money to do it. And we have the chipping banner and the donate button there at the website. Please donate today if you can. We don't have commercials. We don't have sponsors. We don't have any of that. We operate on the kindness of our listenership out there. So we ask you to please donate to us and do it there. And chipping banner and the donate button as well. And we also have a P.O. box now for people who absolutely cannot use PayPal. If you can use PayPal, please use PayPal because a lot of our bills and stuff we pay with that. But there you go. Yeah, and hopefully Demigods are going to be recording their full-length album sometime soon, and hopefully just be able to get that out this year as well. Where we've been we've been short on money. We haven't been able to go back to the studio since last year, so we're planning to do some new recording. We got a lot of new songs. We've got it's really coming together. I think we're really starting to sound really fucking awesome. I mean, we had two rehearsals this week already, and we're just nailing it. We're firing on like all cylinders now. It's amazing. Our energy's just it's insane. The energy we have now. We're tighter than we've ever been. We sound great. We have a much bigger sound, louder, fuller sound. We finally got Jamie's guitar tone down, and Delphi's doing some more bass keyboard stuff. It's getting exciting there on the front of the band. So we hope to have some new music for you guys real soon. Actually, we do have some new music out. I should tell you about that. We actually have a live CD out that's now out. Live at Mansfield Unplugged. www.thedemigodsmusic.com. I think it's linked over there. Thedemigodsmusic.com. It's linked over there, and you can go there, and it's like $10, or I don't know how much it is, or I don't know if the whole thing's of it. Maybe just 4 songs. I'm not for sure yet, but you can PayPal me $10 and put on the note Demigods live CD, and I'll send you one if you want one. I mean, you can just do it that way. I think it's maybe like 4 songs are up there, but if you want a hard copy of that, you can just PayPal me $10 and put a note on there that says you want a Demigods live CD, and I'll say and to sweeten the pot, each one of the CDs features an original art piece, one-of-a-kind art piece done by Delphi, a hand-drawn piece of art. Each one of them, every CD is different, so no two alike, so everybody will get a different one, and it has its own little handmade art on there. They're pretty cool, so that goes to help us, buy studio time and better gear and all that. So if you want a CD of our music, our new live CD, Live at Mansfield Unplugged 2011, it's a board recording. It's not a shitty audience recording. It's a board recording off the mixing board. It's mastered and sweetened by me. It's recorded by my buddy Don, who's a sound guy. And so there you go. Let's see what else we have for news here tonight. This to me kind of looks like, I mean, we know they've had this technology for a very long time, but this sort of reminds me of the things that people see when you're looking at chemtrails. Sometimes these various orbs and things, and sometimes you're looking up at the sky in the daytime, you see, kind of like that. You guys remember the movie They Live, right? We got one that can see, with the glasses and stuff, obey, and this is your God on the dollar and all that stuff. Roddy Piper. Remember the part where that fucking surveillance drone rolls up and Roddy Piper shoots it out of the sky? Going where man fears to tread, flying sphere the size of a basketball that travels at 37 miles an hour. Its Japanese developers call it the futuristic circular flying object, and it's designed to go where humans can't. The radio-controlled sphere, roughly the size of a basketball, was built for search and rescue operations, specifically to fly in and out of buildings weakened by earthquakes or other natural disasters. The device uses its onboard camera to transmit live images of whatever it sees. The black open work ball looks like a futuristic work of art, but it can hover for up to 8 minutes and fly at 37 miles per hour, although it does slow down for open windows. And, this is exactly what it looks like. It looks like the fucking surveillance drone from They Live. I mean, it's wild stuff there. They're finally starting to come out with these technologies that, harness energy from the thin air, from the ether that, Tesla had 100 years ago, Researchers believe they have discovered a device which may be able to power your phone and other electronic items from the energy in the air. They have found that by harnessing energy from the air around us, we could potentially power wireless sensors, microprocessors, and other communication chips. These energy scavenging devices could even be stored in places like our shoes and can be used by itself or with other generating technologies. Manzos Tenetzeritz, professor in the Georgia Tech School of Electrical and Computer Engineering, said that there is a huge amount of electromagnetic energy all around us, but nobody has been able to tap into it. If a battery or a solar collector or a battery package failed completely, scavenged energy could allow the system to transmit a wireless distress signal while also maintaining critical functionalities, according to a Georgia Tech statement. So far, the energy captured is minute, measured in microwatts and milliwatts, not megawatts, but is able to gather enough juice to power small sensors or RFIDs. Yeah, that's how they've had that shit in RFIDs for years. Walmart's had that for forever and ever and ever. You can even see it in the stuff, the picture that this guy's holding up in the article. That's what it is. Yeah, those people always wonder, well, how do those work? You know, they work because they run off the ether essentially, and everything could run off that, but they're slowly allowing it to trickle out to us, I think. Let's see what else we have. More scaremongering by the Department of Reichland Security every summer for the past, 7 or 8 years. It's been, the summer of fear.
Coming this summer to a theater near you. It's the summer of fear.
Sabotage by an insider at a major utility facility, including a chemical or oil refinery, could provide Al-Qaeda with its best opportunity for the kind of massive September 11th anniversary attack Osama bin Laden was planning, according to U.S. officials. Yeah, they just say where the fuck they want to say. Oh, he was planning to derail a Amtrak train with his penis on Christmas. And they can say whatever they want now. He's dead, or, been dead for a long time, but now they've officially, declared him dead. Well, we also found he was going to blow up, the Sears Tower on 9/11. A new intelligence report from the Department of Homeland Security issued Tuesday, titled Insider Threat to Utilities, warns violent extremists have, in fact, obtained insider positions, and that outsiders have attempted to solicit utility sector employees for damaging physical and cyber attacks. Based on the reliable reporting of previous incidences, we have high confidence in our judgment that insiders and their actions pose a significant threat to the infrastructure and information systems of U.S. facilities. The bulletin reads in part, past events and reporting also provide high confidence in our judgment that insider information on sites, infrastructure, networks, and personnel is valuable to our adversaries and may increase the impact of any attack on the utilities infrastructure. So they are highly, highly, highly ramping up infrastructure, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. I honestly, at this point, don't know why they need another one of these attacks other than, to further push. Well, let's just shoot it straight. I mean, war is big business. And the one thing that if you think these ass clowns for a second won't launch a war to save their phony economy and to save their phony Wall Street bullshit, you got another thing coming. They'll do anything. And wars are great for economies. I don't know. I think that very well could be why they might be stage another attack or something. Because again, you look at what's going on in the economy, there's really, that's, the only foreseeable thing these people can do other than let the whole thing come tumbling down and in the ensuing chaos come back and pick up the pieces and rebuild on their own accord. Oh, wait, that's what they're going to do anyway. Never mind. A jury has decided that a set of rare gold coins found in a bank deposit box rightfully belongs to the U.S. government. The decision made on Wednesday caps an unusual civil case that combined history, coin collecting, and whether the set of a rare $20 double eagles should have ever left the U.S. Mint in 1933. Federal prosecutors had asserted that the coins never circulated when the country went off the gold standard. Most of the batch was instead melted down. But Joanne Langbard, the daughter of a Philadelphia jeweler, said that she found the 10 coins in her father's bank deposit bank after he died. She said that her father could have acquired them legally, perhaps through a trade of gold scrap. One 1933 double eagle sold for $7.6 million in 2002. So they decided that another case of the U.S. government saying, we don't care if it legally belongs to you. We're going to say that it belongs to us, and we're going to take that. We don't care. We'll just claim it's ours. Another case of that. They'll do that. Oh, no. You only have what they let you have. Understand and know that. This idea that you ever own land or own the house, the hell no, man. You put yourself in hock to those fuckers for the rest of your life under the illusion that you're buying a piece of property or land or a house that you own. You don't own anything. Oh, good news on the lady who did a tit grab on the TSA agent. Turns out no felony charges will be filed against the Colorado woman who allegedly sexually assaulted a Transportation Security Administration agent in Phoenix. On Tuesday, the Maricopa County District Attorney decided to turn the case of Yukari Miyame, 61, of Longmont over to city prosecutors. She still could be charged with a misdemeanor, but hey, it's a victory because these fuckers need to have a little taste of their own medicine. She walked up and just gave that bitch a straight titty twister, dude. Right there in line at the fucking TSA screening. That's balls. So, Yukari Miyame of Longmont, we salute you. You are a hero. Thank you. I'm glad you're not getting a felony. Good deal. Now, if a hot blonde would just walk up and grab the scuzziest TSA guy, they say, oh, you like that? Just start grabbing his shit right there in the middle of the airport. You like that, big boy? You like that shit? Start grabbing his shit right there. Oh, that'd be great. Yellow liquid would be flowing down his leg in about 2 seconds. Oh, imagine this. Anchor the government highest in 19 years, says Paul. Yeah. Imagine that. Change you can believe in, right? Change you can believe in. Because, well, let me say it like, let me, my goodness gracious, let me say it like the president would say it. By golly. You ever notice how the president talks like Dave Chappelle when Dave Chappelle's imitating a white guy? That's what Obama sounds like, man. It's the truth. It's just, you can't deny it. He sounds exactly like Dave Chappelle or even Richard Pryor imitating what a white person sounds like. That's what Obama sounds like. My golly gracious goodness, what's going on here? God damn it. Change you can believe in. Change you can believe in. That's what we're bringing to America. Yes, that's what we brought to America. By golly gracious goodness. Change you can believe in. Hey, I got something to say. Hey, bitches. I didn't say the change was going to be good. Ha! Gotcha. I just said change. And let me tell you something. You can believe in bad change just as much as you can believe in good change. Let me tell you. My golly gracious goodness, I'm going down to Ray's Hellburger. Peace out. Literally, that's how he talks. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how they, because hey, they never said that we couldn't, that change you can believe in wasn't going to be bad change you can believe in, because believe me, the change that everybody is believing in right now is very believable when you look at the economy and cost of living and everything. I mean, people are mad, so of course. Angered government highest in 19 years. That's what they want. They got us right where they want us. You understand that? This is what they want. They are goading us into this anger. Through everything. Through electromagnetic weapons, through fluoride in the water. Police are being told to step up their brutality. I mean, you guys see what happened to this young teenager in San Francisco. Kid hops on a bus and doesn't pay the $2 bus fare, and some smoky redwood bacon in the San Francisco Police Department sees him not pay the $2 bus fare, chase him down, and while he is on his chest on the street, the 2 pieces of smoky applewood bacon in the San Francisco Police Department shoot this young, of course, black man 5 times and kill him, unarmed, by the way, he is, for not paying a $2 bus fare. And you can see it. There's video of it. I mean, there's people are pissed. People are screaming. There's almost a goddamn riot in the streets here when this video is being shot. I'll put a link to the video in the chat room if you'd like to see it. I don't think you actually see the guy get shot, but you can see it just minutes after he's been shot. You can see the blood pooling up, and he's laying there dying. He's spitting blood out of his mouth. I mean, you can see it all on camera. And the crowd is about to go ape shit. This is another classic case, folks. They are ramping everything up. They want everybody pissed. They want you to know now what the New World Order is. This is why they've allowed all this stuff to come out and be so mainstream now and be on TV. They want you to know about global government. They want you to know about the elite. They want you to know. Why? Because they want to control, through Alex Jones and others like him, what your reaction to that knowledge will be. And that's where I come in and try to do my goddamnedest over here. Aren't very many other people out there trying to keep it from going that way. We're trying to educate people not only about the issues, but about the fact that the people that allegedly are bringing them the issues are trying to goad them into violent conflict. And there's going to be multiple waves. I think luckily there's going to be a lot of people who are going to sit back and not act. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to go on the first wave, and they're going to jump and run and make it hard for the rest of us. I wish that wouldn't happen. But everything now, I mean, listen to this. They've got all these terminologies and diagnoses that are phony and based on lies, just so they can get everybody to be on their drugs. For instance, the whole AA thing. Like people, go to AA. Oh, I have a sickness. I have a disease. My disease makes me shoot heroin into my eye sockets and makes me do PCP off of young children's bottoms. And, it's a disease I have. Those type of people are brainwashed by that AA mentality. They're brainwashed by the fact that, they're not on coke and heroin and speed and pot and crack and meth and all that stuff anymore. But now they're on methadone twice a day, and they're on fucking antipsychotics, and they're on lithium, and they're on Valium, and they're 18 cocktails of fucking drugs. Yeah, I don't drink anymore, but I got more fucking pills on me right now and in me right now than a goddamn pharmacist. And then we allow ourselves to believe that that's okay. Part of that programming by the medical industrial complex and the phony war on drugs and all that stuff, to say that these drugs over here are addictive and you shouldn't be on them, so we're going to give you 5 times as many more drugs for you to take to ensure that you don't go back to these drugs over here that we've deemed not good for you. I mean, you realize that doing an 8-ball of cocaine a day, ladies and gentlemen, is healthier for you than taking, say, Adderall every day or lithium every day? It's a fact. An unprecedented 1 in 66 Americans is a diagnosed psychotic, outselling even common drugs to treat high blood pressure and acid reflux. Antipsychotic medications are the single top-selling prescription drug in the United States. Once reserved for hardcore one flew over the cuckoo's nest type of mental illnesses to treat hallucinations, delusions, or major thought disorders, today the drugs are handed out to unruly kids and absent-minded elderly. A recent story in Al Jazeera by James Ridgway of Mother Jones illuminates the efforts by major pharmaceutical companies to get doctors prescribing medicines like Zyprexa, Seroquel, and Abilify to patients for whom the drugs were never intended. Focusing on psychiatrists because they rely on subjective diagnoses, the drug reps have been so successful that they've changed the criteria for mental illnesses and disability payments. Ridgway quotes former New England Journal of Medicine author Marcia Engel. The tally of those who are so disabled by mental disorders that they qualify for supplemental security income or Social Security disability insurance increased nearly 2.5 times between 1987 and 2007, from 1 in 184 Americans to 1 in 76. For children, the rise is even more startling. 35-fold increase in the same 2 decades. Mental illness is now the leading cause of disability in children. I mean, under the tutelage of Big Pharma, we are simply expanding the criteria for mental illness so that nearly everyone has one. Psychiatric diagnoses have expanded to include many perfectly normal people. I mean, these are like the drug companies admitting this. Everything is that. Everybody has something, so you need to be on their drugs by law through national health care. Fuck them people. Fuck those people, man. I'm not taking their shit. I'm not getting on their fucking national health care horse shit. They're going to have to come and haul my ass off to the camp. But good luck with that, because I ain't going. I'm sure as fuck not going on board with their national health care, and I'm not going to sign up to go to a fucking doctor because they tell me to and take their drugs they tell me to. Fuck that. I'm not a slave. They don't own me. But hey, that's just me. Do your own thing. All right. Let's get into the Lost Book of Inky for you here tonight. We left off last night at I read the intro, the synopsis of tablet number 8. So tonight here, as soon as I find tablet number 8, there's the beginning of chapter 9. So as soon as I find the beginning of tablet number 8 here, we're going to start in on that, and should be good stuff here, getting more and more interesting with everything that we're talking about. I just don't know what page it begins on. Is there a table of contents up in here? No, it doesn't appear so. Anybody know what page the 8 tablet's on? Anybody in the chat room there? There's the 10th. I keep going too far. Anybody? Bueller? So nobody in the chat room knows what page we're on, but everybody in the chat room knows about whale cock. I go in there and ask about for a page, and there's somebody in there talking about whale cock. Well, yeah, we got some winners in that chat room. I just want to say that. Some fucking winners. You're all winners. You may all be losers, but you're all winners in the Global Reality chat room. Just remember that. Let me see where we're at here. You're just going to have to sit here and mind your business until I find the page. So there's the synopsis of the 9th tablet. Let's see. All right, I think here we go. All right, the 8th tablet is page 172. 172. Yeah, I know I never said, but I said that we were, last night that we were leaving, I said that we were reading the synopsis to chapter 8, and we're going to start with the 8th tablet tonight. So, regardless of whether I didn't feel the need to say what page I left on, because I figured if it was the 8th tablet, that would be easy to find as a page. And it was. I just had to go back. No big deal. No need to freak out. I wasn't even going to read tonight at all anyway. I was going to be done with the show and just do news, but I guess since people are freaking out on that, I should read. The 8th tablet. Let Adapa the earthling be brought to Nibiru. Anu declared. And Lil was not pleased by this decision. Who would have ever thought that this would happen? That by a primitive worker fashioning like us, we would become, with knowledge endowed between heaven and earth, to travel. On Nibiru, the waters of long life he will drink. The food of long life he will eat. Let one of us Anunnaki become the one of earth. So was Enlil to Enki and the other lady saying that by the decision of Anu, Enki too was not pleased. Sullen was his face after Anu had spoken. After Enlil had spoken, Enlil agreed with his brother Enki. Indeed, who would have thought of this? The others said to Enki. The brothers sat and contemplated. Ninmah was also deliberating with them. The command of Anu cannot be avoided to them, she said. Let Adapa by our young ones to Nibiru be accompanied. His fright to diminish, to Anu things to explain. So Enki did say to the others, let Ningishzida and Dumuzi his companions be. By the way, Nibiru for the first time, with their eyes they shall also see. By Ninmah was the suggestion favored. Our young ones born on earth of Nibiru are forgetting its life cycles by those of earth and are overwhelmed. Let the two sons of Enki, as yet unmarried, also travel to Nibiru. Perchance brides there for themselves they shall find. When the next celestial chamber from Nibiru arrived in Sipar, Elibrat, a vizier of Anu, stepped off from the chamber. I have come to earth to fetch the earthling Adapa, he said to the leaders. The leaders to Labrat presented Adapa. Titi and her sons to them they also showed. Indeed, in our image and after our likeness they are, so did Elibrat say. To Elibrat, Ningishzida, and Dumuzi, sons of Enki, were presented. To accompany Adapa on his journey they have been selected, he said to Enki. Anu, his grandchildren, Anu will be very pleased to see his grandchildren. So did Alabrast also say. To hear instructions, Enki summoned Adapa to him. To Adapa he said, Adapa, to Nibiru, the planet which we had come, you will be going. Before Anu, our king, you will come. To his majesty you will be presented. Before him you shall bow. Speak only when asked. To questions give short answers. New clothing will be given to you. Put on these new garments. A bread on earth not found they will give to you. The bread is death. Do not eat it. In a chalice, an elixir to drink they will give to you. This elixir is death. Do not drink it. With you, Ningishzida and Dumuzi, my sons, will journey. Hearken to their words, and you shall live. So did Enki instruct Adapa. This I shall remember, Adapa said. Enki, Ningishzida, and Dumuzi summoned. They summoned the Adapa and gave him a blessing and advice. Before I knew the king, my father, you are coming. To him you shall bow and pay homage. By princes and nobles, do not be coward. Of them you are equals. To bring Adapa back to earth is your mission. By Nibiru's delights be not charmed. This we shall remember, Ningazida and Dumuzi said. His young one, Dumuzi, Inki embraced and kissed him on the forehead. The wise one, Ningazida, Inki embraced on the forehead, he kissed him. A sealed tablet he placed, unseen, in the hand of Ningazida. To my father Anu, this tablet in secret you shall give. So Inki did say to Ningazida. Then the two with Adapa to Sippar departed. To the place of the celestial chariots they went. To Ilbrat, Anu's vizier, the three of them themselves presented. To Ningazida and Dumuzi, the garb of Agigi was given. Like celestial eagles they were dressed. As for Adapa, his unkept hair was shaven. A helmet as that of an eagle he was given. Instead of a loincloth, a tight-fitting vestment he was made to wear. Between Ningazida and Dumuzi, inside that which ascends, he was placed. When the signal was given, the celestial chariot roared and shuddered. In fright did Adapa cower and cry out, "The eagle without wings is soaring." This guy's flying in a fucking UFO and freaking out. Holy shit, we're flying off the ground. Oh my God. You know, somebody with no reference for technology, it's unbelievable. Upon his sides, Ningazida and Dumuzi placed their arms, and with soothing words they calmed him. When 1 league aloft they were borne, upon the earth they glanced out, its lands they saw, by seas and oceans, into parts separated. When 2 leagues aloft they were, the ocean to a tub grew smaller. The land was the size of a basket. When 3 leagues aloft they were again, they cast a glance whence they had departed. The earth was now the size of a ball. And by a sea of darkness in the vastness it was swallowed. Once again Adapa was agitated. He cowered and cried out, "Take me back," he shouted. Ningazida put his hand on the neck of Adapa. In an instant, Adapa was quiet. He put the fucking Vulcan grip of death on him. He's, take me back, zip. Just knocked his ass out. Captain, this Adapa is not logical. When they landed on Nibiru, there was much, much curiosity. The children of Enki, born on Earth, they wanted to see, even more so to encounter an Earthling. A being from another world has arrived on Nibiru, the crowds were shouting. With Lulbrat to the palace, they were taken to be washed and perfumed with oils and anointed. Fresh, befitting garments they were given. Heeding Enki's words, Adapa put on the new clothing. In the palace, nobles and heroes milled about. In the throne room, princes and counselors gathered. To the throne room by Illibrat they were led. Adapa behind him, then the 2 sons of Enki. In the throne room before Anu, the king, they bow. From his throne, Anu stepped forward. My grandsons, he cried out. He hugged Dumuzi, he hugged Ningazida. With tears in his eyes, he embraced them, he kissed them. To his right, Dumuzi, he bade to be seated. On his left, Ningazida sat. Then Elibrat to Anu, the earthling, Adapa presented. Does he understand our speech? Anu inquired. Indeed he does. By the Lord Enki he was taught. Ilibrat so answered. Come hither, Anu to Adapa said. What is your name and your occupation? Adapa stepped forward. He again bowed. Adapa is my name. Of the Lord Enki I am a servant. So did Adapa speak in words. His speaking was causing great amazement. A wonder of wonders on earth has been attained, Anu declared. A wonder of wonders on earth has been attained. All the assembled shouted. Let there be a celebration. Let us, our guests, thus welcome, Anu was saying. To the banquet room, Anu, all who were assembled, led to the laden tablets that he happily gestured. I just want to say this. Let's stop right there. just going through my head as I'm reading this. You know, if there's nothing to all of this Enki stuff and Eon, if there's absolutely nothing to it, this is all hogwash. The fact that our planet we call our planet Earth, which has the root Ea, Enki in it, the realm of Enki, the realm of Ea, that if it's all bullshit, man, that's kind of coincidental, don't you think? At the laden table bread of Nibiru, Adapa was offered. He did not eat it. At the laden table's elixir of Nibiru, Adapa was offered. He did not drink it. Anu was puzzled by this and was offended. Why has Enki sent this ill-mannered earthling to Earth? To reveal the celestial ways to him? Come now, Adapa, Anu said. Why did you neither eat nor drink and reject our hospitality? My master, the Lord Enki, commanded me, the bread do not eat, the elixir do not drink. So Adapa did say to Anu, how odd is this thing, Anu was saying, for what has Enki from an earthling our food and elixir prevented? He asked Illibrat, he asked Dumuzi. Illibrat did not know the answer. Dumuzi could not explain either. He asked Ningazita, perchance in this lies the answer, Ningazita said to Anu. The secret tablet that he carried hidden to Anu, to give to Anu the king. Anu was puzzled and concerned. He went to his private chamber with the tablet to attempt to decipher it. Now, this is the account of Adapa, of civilized mankind, the progenitor, and how by his sons Cain and Abel, satiation on earth was started. In his private chamber, Anu broke the tablet seal open. Into the scanner tablet, he inserted it and began to decipher the message from Enki. Adapa by my seed to an earthling woman was born. So did the message from Enki say. Likewise was Titi by another earthling woman of my seed conceived. With wisdom and speech they are endowed. With Nibiru's long lifetime they are not. The bread of long life-giving he should not eat. The elixir of long life he should not drink. To live and die on earth, Adapa must return. Mortality his lot must be. By the sowing and shepherding of his offspring on earth, satiation shall be known. So Enki did reveal the secret of Adapa to his father. The fact that, everybody was under the impression that this just, they just came about as the result of their original genetic tinkering to create a worker race, when in reality, this came as a result not of the genetic tinkering, but of Enki sticking his penis in multiple genetic offspring and then creating a whole new species, which was a bred from the Anunnaki and the created slave race. Thus, supposedly we have human beings. By the secret message from Enki, Anu was astounded. He didn't know whether to be angry, to laugh. He didn't know what to do. Illibrat, his vizier, to his private chamber he summoned and said to him, that son of mine, Ea, even as Enki, his free ways with females has not mended. The Ea is like his bitch name. That's what they call him back on Nibiru. Enki's like his formal, soldier god name. Ea is like a nickname, like Bubba, He has not mended his free ways with the females. To Illibrat, his vizier, the message on the tablet was shown. What are the rules? What is the king to do? Anu inquired. Concubines by our rules are permitted. Of interplanetary cohabitation, no rules exist. He's like, hey, he's like, well, this may be a problem, but, we've never encountered this situation before, so we don't, there isn't technically a law that says you can't go stick your penis in something that came from another planet. So you really can't get mad about this. So Illibrat did respond to the king. If there's damage done, then let it be restricted. And if there isn't, then fuck it. Why not? Let Adapa forthwith be returned to the earth, and let Ningazita and Dumuzi stay longer. Anu then summoned Ningazita to his private chamber. Do you know what your father's message said of Ningazita he acquired? Ningazita lowered his head with a whispering voice. He said, I know not, but I can guess. The life essence of Adapa I have tested, of Enki's seed he is. That indeed is the message, Anu said to him. Adapa to earth forthwith shall return. To be of civilized man a progenitor, his destiny shall be. As for you, Ningazita, to earth with Adapa you shall return. Of civilized mankind at your father's side, you will become the teacher. Anu, the king, made the decision, and the destiny of Adapa and Ningazita he determined. To the assembled savants, nobles, princes, and counselors, Anu and the other two returned. To the assembled words of decision, Anu announced, the welcome to the earthling must not be overextended. On our planet, he cannot eat or drink. Of his outstanding abilities we have all seen, let him now return to earth. Let his offspring there on earth till and feel the meadows and shepherd the meadows. To ensure his safety and avoid his agitation, Ningishzita will be back with him and travel with him back to earth. With him, the seeds of Nibiru grains, which multiply on earth, will be sent. Dumuzi, the youngest, for Ashar, will stay with us. Then to earth with ewes and the essence of sheep he shall return. This was the decision of Anu. To the king's words, all in agreement bowed their heads. At the appointed time, Ningazina and Adapa returned to the celestial chariot and were taken to earth. Anu and Dumuzi, Illibrat, and counselors, nobles, and heroes all bade them farewell. There was roaring and shuddering, and the chariot was lofted. The planet Nibiru grew smaller as they saw it from horizon to zenith, and they saw the heavens as well. On their journey, Ningazita explained the planet gods to Adapa. So right there, they confirm what we talked about earlier in the book, the idea that the planets being gods. So he explained that the planet, explained to Adapa the planets being the gods themselves. What was that one person that says that email? Oh, the planets are Satan. Of sun and earth and the arid moon, he gave lessons. Of how the months chase one another and how earth's year is counted, he taught to him. When they returned to earth, Ningazita explained to his father Enki all that had happened. Enki laughed and struck his loins. It all went as I expected, with glee, he said. Except the detention of Dumuzi. That is a puzzle, so Enki did say. By the prompt return of Ningazita and Adapa, Enlil was greatly puzzled. What is the matter? What on Nibiru transpired? Of Enki, Ningazita inquired. Let Ninma too be summoned. Let me hear from her also what transpired, Enki said to him. So we're going to stop right there, and we're going to pick up next time on the show, page 180, 180. Remember that, chat room Denzians, because I probably won't remember it, and I probably won't go back and listen to the archive, but page 180, 180, 180. We will pick up there on the broadcast tomorrow. Man, good stuff. Just good stuff there tonight. I'm glad I decided to read that stuff, but man, just continues to get interesting and interesting. And again, the reason I've decided to read this is for this exact reason, gaining a greater understanding about this stuff and separating from ourselves, what we believe is the fact or fiction concerning what is in these Sumerian clay tablets. And I always, have been a firm believer in putting stuff out there in the court of public opinion and letting people decide for themselves what's what. Instead of having somebody decide for you, this is all crap, this is all horse shit, you shouldn't look into it, you shouldn't read about it. Well, maybe there's a reason why they've been telling us that all along. Obviously, I think with the CMP priest class information, we can now confirm that pretty well. My website where this broadcast originates from is www.theglobalreality.com. That's www.theglobalreality.com. The chip and banner and the donate button are there to support our work. If you want to use the donate button for larger amounts of cash, if you want to donate grants or whatever to help us fund more movies and buy better equipment, you can do that way. Chip and banner for the bills. Also have a P.O. box there where for people who can't use PayPal, you can send it checks made payable to me. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you. We'll see you tomorrow for the broadcast. You guys have a great night, morning. Take care.